So it is all the time.
I've been here 17 years, it's been up to about 17.
Always been this way? Oh, well, it's been that way too. It's been hot, early fall. This, rain has been covering the meetings on Zoom. It should really come at night, so.
Yeah, it's been like this. There's a little bit more chairs.
They used to do a work session.
Yeah.
In the work session, they would do the tables in a square right there.
Yeah, the last time I came, the Verizon was serving food. One chamber was
So
there.
that must have been a special.
So I usually have city council on Tuesday night. I feel like that. all of the directors and officers.
Directors, principals,
Principals.
and we're here just in case they have a question.
I know Mr. Last year, but I'm pretty tired of it.
John White.
Last year.
It should be a relatively short meeting.
Uh-oh,
I
so-
say that. Everybody kind of takes it, holds their breath.
Yeah.
It's like,
Brenda says they usually go on for a while. Yeah, we're in the process of covering Pinedale now too.
oh yeah.
Yep. Where's the best place?
Usually they sit in the first row.
Pictures of everybody. How are you, sir? Hi, John.
Hey, how are you today? Good.
Is the name Lieber?
Let's pull it away.
Ollie, Larry.
You just present our plans. You just present
Hello, ladies. Come on in. You have to sit right here. So this plan should right up front.
The next time. She's not coming. Okay, perfect. That is how this comes out against her. How is that? She'll be sitting right there. Yeah. Yep.
Let me know what the playbill's doing.
And are you here in place of Raina, or are you taking Raina's place?
Pardon?
Are you here for the Herald or someone else?
For the Herald.
Okay, so Miss Jones used to do it. I can't remember if her name is Raina, R-A-N-A.
I'm not bringing them to King. Brandon had to go to Canberra
Okay,
tonight, so
okay,
I'm usually at the city council on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
But they don't have a meeting tonight.
oh, so you're covering for
So
her.
I'm covering for her.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, it's been a long time since I've been here, so this is all
new.
Yeah. Last time I was here was in the fall when I was in chamber and I was in serving.
Oh, no.
That was the last time I was here. So, yeah.
Okay.
Good, it's good to see you. I like your festive sweater.
Thank you. Ready for Valentine's.
Here you go. If we went in right after
Do we just face this way? Yes. This is Hi, Kate, how are you?
That was scary.
You can sit right here.
Now I'm nervous, look at the crowd. I'm just speaking to the board. Well, I had to make my edit on the
Hi, how are you? Thank you. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
confidential next to my phone as well. What'd you say? Can I put the word confidential next to my phone number as well? Yeah, confidential. Means don't call that number. Don't call that number. Yes, do not. I can't put that next line.
My cell phone is supposed to
I'll have the same conversation I did at my office. If you have something to direct me that is a school board related issue, come to the school board. I'm not addressing it while I'm doing it. Don't hold it.
My work number's wrong on that. They can call my old number.
You want to run the board? Forget about it. There you go. Everybody in the house? Caleb's in the house?
Yeah, I think we're all.
Absolutely. All right.
Rock and roll, buddy.
All right, everybody, it is 6:02, and I need to call to order this Utica County School District number 1 Board of Trustees Board meeting. I need a motion to go into the board meeting.
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now in the Utica County School District number 1 board meeting. I need everybody to stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's all right. There's only so much room up there. All right, it's awesome to see all you out here. Sometimes I can hear the echoes from the back of the room. So I know why you're here, and that's very exciting. Congratulations, and we'll congratulate you a little bit later on it. What I need to go to now is I need to have, to approve the agenda for the board meeting tonight. I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda for tonight as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I need to approve the consent agenda items. Items A, the minutes from 1/9/2024, and B, the payment of the bills. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion.
I second that motion.
I have a second. Any discussions? No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. All righty, Mr. Thomas, we have a couple of presentations.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, I'm going to invite Principal Merle Lester to come down and begin our introduction. Principal Lester.
Good evening, members of the board. A couple weeks ago, I had the privilege of going to state cheer and dance in Casper. It was actually, I've been to a lot of events in my career. I've been an administrator 22 years, and it was actually like in my top 2 or 3 list of things that I've ever done this year, and so really created a lot of great memories for me. I would like to introduce Sydney Liebert, our coach, and Holly Blair, if you guys would come on up. These 2 ladies are our cheer coaches, and honestly, I think they're, did you get voted the best? I voted them the best in the state. And so I don't know if where that all stands, but I'm going to let you guys introduce and just kind of talk about your event. So, thank you.
So, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Sydney Liebert. I'm the head cheer coach for the Evanston cheerleaders.
I'm Holly Blair. I'm the assistant volunteer coach for the cheerleaders.
This will be both of our second years with the cheer team, and it's been kind of a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun working with these kids, and they're very, very hardworking group of kiddos. We went to state hoping for the best, and they were able to pump it out and get first place in 3A all-girls stunt, and we're extremely proud of them. It's a huge thing to be able to bring home to Evanston.
With that being said, we really want to make sure that you guys understand that we took 8 brand new cheerleaders with us. First time ever cheering to do this. 9 had never gone to state. So very exciting. This next year we will be losing 3 for seniors. Yeah. So pretty good. We'll be able to come back this next year and hopefully do this again. Yeah. Can we have our state team stand up, please?
Come on down.
Come on down. The price is right.
Go right up on the podium.
Behind coach. So our first one here is Talia Case. And then we have Dallin Weisenbaker, Haley Hayes, senior. Haley Winter. I know I mix these 2 up constantly. Haley Winter, Heather Hayes, both are seniors. Then we have Danica Jorgensen, Josie Wilson, Katie Morrow, Olivia Miller, Jane Anderson, Ashlyn Kopp, Maylee Geary, and Tycee Moon. This is our state team that we took with us. And we'd also like to say thank you to the high school in Merle and everyone for the support that we've had this year. It's been great. The district has been there with Bubba and Donna always answering our crazy questions and everything, but also having Merle there to support us was amazing.
And we appreciate you guys giving the opportunity to celebrate these girls again.
Hope to
Thank
see you
you.
up here next year, too.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So, one last thing. So one last thing, I equivalent this team a little bit, if you guys have seen the movie The Boys in the Boat. When you take raise your hand if you're new to cheer this year. Wow. I mean, try that in football, right? Try it in wrestling, try it in, I mean, that just doesn't happen to be able to bring home a state championship with that many new talents to the stage. What it tells me is, number one, you've probably got some really good senior leadership, and you've got some really good coaching, and we've got some very coachable young people. And that's one of the greatest talents that you guys can ever carry forward, is to be coachable and teachable. And so, sure proud of you guys. Amazing. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Who was the one that was supposed to give the talk? Which one of you guys were supposed to give a speech?
So our dance coach is dealing with a sick child, I think. She's trying to get here, she's a little late.
I heard the door close downstairs.
So I'm hoping that's her. But if not, I'm going to bring up Allie Sanchez and and Hallie Davis. So if you guys would come on up here, you two. These are our two captains, right, for the classics this year. And so let me just just a couple things about this team. So I've been to, cheer and dance to the competition before. And I'm not sure how many routines they have, but it's it's a crazy event, because literally they'll say, this event's going to start at 3:13, and you'll see the announcer wait, and as soon as it turns 3:13, they're on. And so it's ran at a perfect schedule. It's it's one of the only events. I wish our others were like that. I can think of like wrestling, volleyball, drag, so anyway, but it's just kind of a really neat event. When I was watching, I'm guessing there's 50-some routines, and there were some that were just fantastic, some that, just multi-level. But there was one routine that absolutely stopped the whole crowd, and it just stunned them. And I was sitting next to this lady after the classics did their jazz routine, and it was really kind of funny. She's like, wow, that's a winner. And I was like, yeah, it really was. It was just a fantastic deal. So, she here yet? I'm going to turn the timer over to you guys real quick to say just a few things, and then bring your team up.
Okay, I don't really know what to say, but it was just a really awesome experience, like winning back-to-back state championships. Like, it's not something that a lot of teams get to say, so it's something that's really cool and something that we worked really hard for. All year we were kind of saying, we're not going to win a state championship, we're going to put like our heart and our best performance on the floor, and that's what we did. And then our hip-hop routine actually came in second by not that many points. We had a deduction, and one of our members was out 20 minutes before we went out to perform. She got hurt, so we really handled the pressure really well. And so, yeah, do you have anything?
Yeah. I'm just really proud of our team and all we've accomplished this year, and it was really great going to state one last time, and yeah, I can't wait to see what they do next year.
Bring them up now.
Come on down. So will you introduce them as they come by then?
Yeah.
Please?
Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, Lucy Rex, Carlin Kapner, Jaylee Randall, Bailey Wright, Aspen Higdon, Kaya Coles, Celeste Gomez, Brooklyn Gillette, Tori Walker, Cache Brooks, Julia Perez, Cambry Young, Addie Acey, Addie Maestas, Jaslyn Welling, sorry, Rosie Steinbeck, Becca Davis, Hannah Lichty, Marissa Parks, Hallie Davis, and Allie Sanchez.
Thank you, guys.
Well done. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, they can do it. You have to win to go 2 to get 3.
So just to wrap up my comments, Candace Spivey is our coach, and she wasn't able to be here. I'm really sorry. She's fantastic, as you can tell, and it's just great to see the success. And it was really fun being up there. I mean, there's a lot of girls, you know, and it was honestly a lot of fun. I felt like a little bit out of my element, I'm not gonna lie. You know, more like a wrestling tournament kind of guy, but I'll tell you what, it was seriously one of the funnest things I've ever done. Sure proud of them, so thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, so on behalf of the board, congratulations, each and every one of you. That is just fantastic. I am such an advocate for any extracurricular activities, and so proud of you for what you were able to accomplish this year, and just keep it going. Thanks.
Yeah, I have one question. The young ladies that were here that spoke, and then all of you that came up here, were you more nervous here tonight or when you performed? Probably here tonight. And I just had one more comment. I want to thank Holly and Sydney for what you've done this last year. And not only your coaching and whatever, but the example you set for these young ladies, I think is very commendable, and just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now the hard part. You have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, you gotta stay.
You are not excused. You're going to be quizzed at the end.
I'll have to practice if that's okay.
Okay. Oh, okay, all right. As long as you're going to practice. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks again.
Thank you.
Pretend they're going to practice.
Yeah, we have to be up in a couple hours.
Fantastic.
Oh, well, it's cleared out. Oh.
It's clear now. Now I can hear the echoes. Yeah.
Back to normal.
Kind of empty. How are you, Mr. Francis? Yeah, okay.
Now he has, that's like a front row seat.
So, moving on, we're going to move down to department budget reports. Mr.
John
Thomas.
Peterson, members of the board, as you know, this is part of our budgeting process. You'll get an opportunity to hear from all of our departments. We typically start with transportation and food service. Typically, because transportation needs to get a bus approved usually in March, and so needs to be the first one, but we start off with a bang. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Travis Fackel, Transportation Department Director.
Did you get to walk across the stage? It was pretty cool. I don't know his name. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I was impressed with what they did. The training was excellent. Yeah, it was.
Good evening, members of the board. So I know it says budget presentation. I already kind of came and talked to you a little bit earlier this year about a couple of buses we need, and maybe replacing a staff vehicle throughout this year that we're on that budget. So you're already kind of aware of that. There are some budgetary things at the end of my presentation, just to kind of give you a heads up of where we're looking in the future. But this year, kind of tried to do something a little bit different. Last year I brought you a bunch of graphs and numbers, and sometimes it's good to not have to be put to sleep by PowerPoint. So this year we kind of went with a different theme. Just going to kind of tell you a little bit more about the transportation department and some of our staff and some of the things that we do, beyond transportation, just back and forth to school. So this photo here is one we took as a group at the beginning of the year. It shows you all of our staff at that time, and just kind of some of the fun we started out with this year. Just a quick highlight of some accomplishments from last year. This is not everything, but this is just some of the stuff that we like to be proud of. Our daily average was 1,264 students. It seems to be holding steady from year to year. I think we're up like 5 students this year for an average. Drove 215,000 miles just for routes and 137,000 miles for activities and trips. That's not including middle of the day shuttles or after school enrichments. This is just activities and route miles. A little bit on that, the mileage per student ADM is about the same as last year. We're right about 88 miles per student, just to let you know on that. Last year we had 2 buses approved from you. We had those purchased and they're in our fleet, and they're actually 2 buses that were in that very beginning photo. This year we had a bid that was accepted to start on the lifts, and we've already been down that road. There's next slide coming up, there'll be a little bit more about that. One more thing this last year is FMCSA decided to audit school districts in the state of Wyoming. We went through our audit and we passed, and I asked the gentleman, if you were to give us a grade on how we did, and he said we probably got about a B+. There was a couple minor things we had to fix, but nothing major, and he was pretty happy with all of our results from that audit. So we're doing pretty good in that department. Lift update, we started in September, and we just finished at the end of the January. The old lifts were removed. Everything was done from fresh, new concrete, new lifts. The floor's been recoated, re-epoxied. The lifts are fantastic. We love them. We want to thank you. We want to thank Mr. Dennis. There's a lot of effort and work that went into that, and it works out nice. We're back up, fully running.
Looks nice.
So thank you very much.
Do they still look that way, or are they a little oily now?
No, the slide in the bottom right is
that's the new ones.
probably about a week ago. So we just barely had the floors coated. We're keeping them pretty clean.
Those are oilers, your hoses that go through there. And then the lift comes down to the bottom of it. You can see where they excavated out.
Yeah, the picture on the right-hand side in the middle is the actual lift with the bus on it. That was the day that we turned them on and had to test run them before the company left to make sure everything was good and they could certify them.
Nice.
So this slide's a little bit about what it takes to be a transportation professional. ELDT is entry-level driver training. Some of you are familiar with that. Some of you may not be. That's like the FMCSA's minimum requirements to get a CDL, is to do that. We go way above and beyond that with all the other little tiles that are on this sheet. Mountain driving teaches us how to go up and down pretty steep grades with lots of curves. Winter training, we take the drivers out and we actually go in our parking lot and slam on the brakes and try to get the bus to brake free so they can learn what it's like when the bus slides and how to control it. And so they know, because we live in Wyoming, we have lots of slick roads. Defensive driving, Montana Drive School is just to teach them to be on the lookout, always be one step ahead of a potential situation. Montana Drive's a really cool place to go. In Houston, Montana, they take you out on an old airport runway. They spray the runway with water, you take the bus, you do donuts in it, you do all kinds of stuff. Cone avoidance, it's pretty fun and it teaches a lot. WPTA is just the Wyoming Pupil Transportation Association. We're a member of that. In the summertime, they do a training in July. Well, it's in June, beginning of July. They go over new training updates, new procedures. We go over special service advancements, new techniques. So we like to send as many of our drivers to that every year as we can. And then the last tile is a special training we go through, the CPR, medical emergencies, and special service training within our district. The bottom tile there is just for our mechanics, just to let you know where they're at. They go through all the same training as a regular driver. But then we encourage Cummins engine training, the WPTA mechanic workshop, and we also send them to a workshop in Utah. It's really good. It's for 3 days. So they're pretty highly trained as well. And I'm encouraging to continue this training.
Which tile up there was supposed to have the drag race training on it?
It's
We'll get there.
Relax. Wow, I knew you were all about it.
So being able to do that training, we keep our staff up to date, the most current methods and procedures, the most current laws. It's helped us this year. Our numbers are lower for the number of busted incidents. We're lower for bus referrals, and the cost of repairs has actually gone down. So incidents, we don't have a lot. We went from 4 to 3. Referrals were down 20%, and cost per mile, we actually dropped 70 cents per mile. And I can basically say that's just due to more training, better training, and constant training. So this is just, our current numbers, so you can kind of look over it and see where we're at with our staff. How many drivers do we have? How many sub-drivers do we have? This is everybody that's in our transportation department, and that 45 staff count kind of seems to be about the nominal number. We may have some more, we may have some less, just kind of depends on, the way it's going for everybody. We do 54 routes. Got it split up into secondary and elementary, and that's AM, PM. 1,262 average daily miles. And once again, that's not including any midday shuttle runs or any after-school enrichment. This is just to school, from school. First buses leave our bus garage at 5:30 in the morning, and last ones get in at 5:30, unless it's after-school enrichment or inclement weather, and then it could be 6:30 out. And there's somebody there all day, from open to close. We have 34 buses currently. Average age is 9.8 years. We're able to keep that age down to that with, encouraging getting new buses every year, kind of keep that level down. We have 4 wheelchair buses currently and 3 buses that are designated activity. The rest are regular route buses. This year, we're looking at replacing the wheelchair bus and maybe getting a new activity bus. Activity buses that we have, one of the activity buses that we have is getting up there. It's 210,000 miles, and one of the wheelchair buses we currently use is aged out, and we're looking at replacing that. So that would be the 2 that I've already kind of approached you before, and I'll give you some more numbers. Our fleet currently 27. This number is kind of a soft number because there are some items in our fleet that we don't really consider like an actual vehicle. So Red Devil Ranch has a couple of vehicles out there that they stay on the ranch. They do belong in our fleet, but we don't technically count them. So this number's kind of soft in that way. You can see with transportation, we have 3 vehicles. Food service has 3. Maintenance and facilities has 13. That should be including like their warehouse vans and everything. And 8 staff travel. 6 Suburbans are what the state calls multi-passenger vehicles, and they're reimbursed, and they're what we transport students in. So this is just, transportation is more than just to and from school. We've partnered with the LEPC. I actually saw you, Mr. Peterson, at the last LEPC meeting. We work with the Sheriff's Department, we work with the Health Department, We set up things for them. If they need to do an emergency clinic, we help them with that. We do health department drills. We team with the sheriff's department. We do evacuation drills with all of our schools. So there's a lot more involved than just taking students to school for us.
There you go, Brad.
Yeah, there's your slide about the drag racing. Our staff love doing things in the community. When the idea was brought to them about maybe taking a couple buses to the drag strip, they are all about it. They want to see about maybe taking one to the drag strip this year, but we'll get there later. Anytime there's a parade, homecoming, or weather or whatnot, we take buses, we decorate them. We like to be out there in the community so they can see us as more than just the yellow bus. That also helps with our staff's morale. They like to participate in these things. It keeps them happy. It lets them know that they are an important part of this community. A lot of stuff we do with staff, we try to make it as fun as we can when we can. Half days we do themed potluck kind of things. We do, during Christmas, this middle picture, we did musical chairs with all of our drivers. They got to win prizes and stuff like that. So we do things that keep it fun and enjoyable for all of our staff. And the drag racing one was a big one. Everybody wanted to get in on that. So looking to the future, 2 new buses for next year to keep that age limit down. WDE is looking at a different bidding system. They've been in the process for a couple of years. They still are working on it. It's going to be something that kind of keeps up with our surrounding states and how they do things. So as that progresses, I'll definitely keep you updated on that process. Need to replace some staff vehicles. They're getting older, aged out, miled out. We're currently in the process of replacing one that you're already aware of. Depending on how that goes and what route we go with that, I'll be coming back to you to see what we can do with some of the others. Looking at some routing software, our transportation department still does everything by pen and paper, all of our routes. So, 5 years ago or more, probably wasn't that big of a deal. We're now 1,200 students. It's a lot of stops and a lot of routes. And we're trying to condense. Just the availability of drivers is getting hard. But when we condense routes, you need to know where to put the other stops. So we're looking into routing software. It'll help streamline everything. It'll help it make it more efficient. Some of the routing software has add-on pieces that I think would be beneficial. There's a parent app that we could give access to parents, and we could send them notifications. Bus is stuck in the snow, it's 15 minutes late. We can tell them, hey, change in bus number today. You can go all out and put tablets on the bus so the drivers have basically like a GPS tablet tells them where to go, and that would help with substitute drivers. A couple of different values on that. We've been looking at TransFinder's a company that I've been talking to. Another way to go is Zonar. Most of our new buses or Thomas-built buses have Zonar compatible stuff already installed in them. So that would be probably cost saving there if we went that route. Looking at WildLink radios, middle of Wyoming, there's dead spots, no cell phones work, and we always constantly worry about activity buses. So we're looking at putting some WildLink radios in some of our outfits, and they can communicate across the state. Another alternative to that is FirstNet phones. We had an issue this year where all the phones went dead, and we couldn't communicate with anybody. And we actually had a student that was new. We didn't know where he went. We couldn't call the schools. We couldn't call mom. So that's what kind of kicked us onto this FirstNet. That was brought to us by the sheriff's department. They said, hey, these FirstNet phones work when there's outages. That's what It was something the government instituted after 9/11. It's a dedicated network just for emergencies. So other than that, that's what I've got for you this time. I tried to keep it as short as I could. I was challenged to make it less than 9, but 9's what I got. So, any questions for me?
I do, and I'm going to go back to this, and this is probably just going to be a general
Take
question.
his first, and I'll get second.
When we start to look to replace some of the staff vehicles and we go out to bid, do we seek local dealerships first, or do we go just general? So we do go after that. Is there anything set up? Because I know when we go to bids with the industry that I'm in, we have Wyoming preferences. There's a 5% preference in that situation. We do have a preference for local, okay.
When we consider...
For Wyoming, but nothing for just local within Evanston, just within Wyoming?
Wyoming.
Okay, all right. That answers my question. Okay. Thanks.
I have a question in regards to students being transported from the high school. I've had some parents ask me how come the buses aren't very full. Maybe there's, because, you know, a lot of kids drive their own. And my answer is, tell me if I'm wrong, the district has a mandatory responsibility to transport kids, whether there's one on the bus or it's full. Is that right?
It depends on where the student lives now.
Right, but I mean, if they are in our district, we have to transport them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's the answer I gave. I just want to know if I was right or not.
It's, you know, logistics. If one bus is going over to Almy, they may only have 5 students, but there'd be no sense to put a bunch of students on that would have to go over by you and me first. Because then we're increasing route times and it's just not logistical. That's part of the routing software, is we would be able to integrate it with PowerSchool, and it would know all the students' addresses and where their stops are, and then it maps it out for you and gives you the best, hey, instead of these 2 stops being on this bus, these 2 stops should be on that bus.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bennett, a good response to that too, because I'm asked that all the time, is if you have 60 students that ride a route bus, but only 20 of them show up, you have to take those 20.
Right.
The other best answer, I think, is transportation is 100% reimbursed.
That's true, I didn't bring in that part.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joe Pearson, member of the board, I'd like to introduce our food service director, Sheila. Good job, folks.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. I'm Sheila Stewart. I am the new food service director for Lynn County School District Number 1. I want to share with you guys a couple of things tonight, kind of some of the things that our department's doing, some of the things we're working on, some of the fun things we've been implementing. First thing we'll start with here. Can you see that? It's kind of low.
Can we have you pull the mic over closer to you?
Yep. How's that? Is that a little better?
A little better.
Okay, we'll get a little closer.
Thank you.
All right, so first things first. This is a graph of our free and reduced meal eligibility counts. So there's a couple of different ways how our kids can get on the free and reduced meal program. One is through income applications, that's something that the parents provide. Another is through our direct certifications, and that's the information that comes to us through the state, such as kids who receive SNAP benefits or TANF benefits. As you guys can see, the light blue here, this is last year, versus the dark blue, which is this year, and every school in our district, it has a bit of an increase. District-wide, it's up about a little over 6% for the district. That has to do a lot with this year, the state has decided that they are going to use Medicaid as a direct certification.
I wanted to just ask a question because I looked at it earlier.
Sure.
On the bottom of your graph, on the first one that you had, the 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, is that a percentage or that students?
Percentage.
That's a percentage?
Yes, percentage.
So we are almost 80% with the Horizon and junior high school?
Yes, yes, that is correct. Horizon is our biggest school with the free and reduced.
All right, thank you.
So, like I said, there's been some increases, and a lot of it is due to having the direct certification Medicaid information come in this year. This isn't something that we have done before, so any student that comes in and has Medicaid benefits automatically qualifies for free or reduced lunch. So as you can see, let's see, 2022-2023 school year, direct cert eligibility was 13.97%. This year, it's jumped up to 24.68%, and that's due to the kids that now are on Medicaid. So, some of the other fun things that we're doing in our district, this one we are super excited about. We implemented a new fresh fruit and vegetable program. This grant is funded through the Department of Defense, and it allows us to bring in fresh local produce as well as some specialty items such as Cara oranges or sugar beet apples. Which, if you have not tried, you should, because they are delish. We had some staff who participated in the School Nutrition Association food shows. While we were there, we found some new items, as well as we participated in production classes and culinary skills classes. And then we were lucky enough that the National School Lunch Association Conference was held in Denver this last year. And myself and some other staff members, 3 kitchen managers and our head cook, were able to attend. And that was super great for everyone. We learned a lot, and we were able to bring those things back and put those into our department. So just to give you guys an idea of some of the things that we do and some of the quantities that we serve in, all of this information is as of January 31st. So you can see that these are the breakfasts that we have served district-wide. We are up of an increase of a little over 2,000 breakfasts served versus last year. And then if we look at the lunch, it's down a little bit, but it's kind of funny because a lot of it has to do with the weather. You would think that kids just eat lunch or breakfast just to eat lunch or breakfast. That's not always the case. When it's cold outside, we see our breakfast numbers go up, and when the weather is bad and our secondary kids who can't leave campus, they'll come in and they'll eat school lunch. So I believe that these numbers are going to come up, but this just gives you a little snapshot of the massive numbers of students that we feed, and this is just through January 31st, like I said. So this number will easily double by the end of the year. So some of our goals for this year is to add new menu items. We've implemented a few of them already in the first half of the year. Most recently was our chicken and waffles. The kids loved it. A few were a little concerned about it, but then they ended up trying it and loving it. The other thing is we are one of the very few districts that actually have a full bakery still in use in a school district. So our goal is to scratch cook more items. So giving kids more of that homemade feel and more of those comfort foods. The other thing is we're doing more grab-and-go options. This is really helpful for a lot of our secondary kids who don't want to traditionally go sit in a lunchroom. They want to grab something, they want to go visit with their friends, or kids that are coming in and getting a grab-and-go on their way to class because they might be a little late in the mornings. We are enhancing our salad bars, and this is due to our fresh fruit and vegetable program that we have implemented this year. It's been really nice to be able to bring in fresh produce. It's better quality, it gets to us faster. It's as close to farm to table as we can get without sourcing it locally. By locally, I mean in town. The other thing that we are super excited about, and we're making motions to get to this, is offering local beef and produce. So we currently are working with the FFA chapter here at the high school to be able to resource some of their beef that they produce there on Red Devil Ranch and menu that into our menu items. So yeah. that's my spiel, short and sweet for you.
Good.
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
So what would be, you say more grab-and-go options. What would those be?
So a lot of the grab-and-go options are salads, wraps, sandwiches, something that come in like a container, and they can just go and they don't have to wait through a traditional lunch line. It's all, the reimbursable meal is already there in a container, and they just grab it, put their lunch number in, and off they go.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
On the kids with Medicaid, are we, so like as a provider, if I see those kids, can I ask them if they're on free and reduced? If they're not, how do they get that? How do they go about that?
So the information has to come through the state. So if the state has received that information, then the state will get that to us. So as soon as they get the Medicaid benefits, they're sending an update to
They
us
send an
every
update
month.
to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and then we do an import every month.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
okay, any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Thomas, we will move on to discussion items.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have had no changes to the district calendar that were proposed last month. We will recommend later to approve those as presented to you. Is there any questions, anything I can go over, anything I can answer?
I'm good.
Okay. Seeing none, just also a heads up, you do have a list of administrative contracts that will be approved in March. No changes, hopefully they're all staying. We have a very good team.
No, I agree with you 100%. Fantastic administrative team that we've had out here, so thank you very much, guys.
Next item, that's all we have. MOU Emergency Management Agreement. Mr. Fackrell, did this come from you, or is this, okay, you want to come up and we can answer the question?
I do have a question on this one, so don't let him get away without me reminding me of my question.
So, Chairman Peterson, members of the board, just to read the purpose of this. The purpose of this MOU is to provide UCPH and UCEM access to Utica County School District Number 1 owned buildings, properties, and transportation services, i.e. school buses, and the uses of buses and drivers in time of emergency. The buildings and properties would be utilized for point of distribution sites, mass vaccine clinics, and other emergency management activities in the event of a natural disaster, bioterrorism event, or other public health emergencies. Buses would be used in the event of an evacuation and/or to move people to safe locations. So that's the purpose of this agreement. And Mr. Fackrell has been working with them and can answer any of your questions.
Oh, so it's just question time now? Question and answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess as I read down through it, the one thing that caught my eye a little bit is I understand the buses, I understand the buildings, emergency services on that end. But can we require drivers to drive these buses? How do we, during emergency services, ask, or can we require our drivers to drive these buses in that case? I guess, is there a contract, something in there that they agree to, any situation like that as a volunteer?
We currently don't require them, can't force them. It's voluntary. Anytime we needed the drivers, we send out a mass alert to them, say, emergency, can you respond? They call us or text us right back so we know who's responding. Myself, the office staff, mechanics were on site and we will respond if we're there.
Okay.
As far as drivers, it's more or less voluntary. Most of them are more than happy to anywhere they can.
And I guess that was my question as I was reading down through the memorandum of understanding, was that the drivers were going to be there. I didn't know if there needed to be a statement or agreement in there that it was voluntary services for your driver rather than a statement that the drivers would be available for it. Does that make sense? Mr. Phillips, is that on your memorandum of understanding? I don't know if you can hold them to it or not, or if there needs to be any kind of verbiage in it whatsoever.
Generally, memorandums of understanding aren't binding anyway.
Okay,
It's
all
just
right.
sort of- So yeah, probably not.
Okay,
It's
all
just
right.
kind of an agreement that, hey, we will support you in any way we can with our facilities and our vehicles and some of our staff, should you ever need us.
Okay.
to respond.
Nope, that answers my
There's
question.
some
Thanks.
commitment
That's-
level there, but as far as binding, it's not.
Not, okay.
And as long as I can remember, we've had agreements for emergency services through all our schools.
No, I agree. I am 100% for this. I just was, as I was reading down through that, I just didn't know on the personnel in the so.
Also, to let you know, once a year, I have to register for what's called SAM. It basically registers us as a federal recipient of grant things. One of the questions that they ask is UNO1, can UNO1 be available for emergency sheltering? And I do check the box for Utah and Idaho. So let's say that there was something in Bear Lake. Okay, we'd basically help out. I've never been told, don't go that direction. I'm just letting everybody know, if there was a natural disaster in Utah, that we would be available.
No, I agree 100% with that. I was just wanting to make sure that we were covered as far as our personnel. So that was my question on it. So. Fantastic. No, I think it's a great agreement. Yeah.
They had one in place many years ago. This is just an updated version of it, just to keep everybody together. Like I was mentioning earlier, we do the LEDC meetings with Keith with that. There's a rail raid. Something was to happen, I-80. It's just good to partner with them and give them our support in case, someone of our community needs them.
I agree 100%. So, nope, you answered my question. Thank you.
We'll vote on this later.
Okay. That was the last of our discussion items. Now we're going to move on to public comments. Do I have?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Your audience here. Good evening, Chairperson Peterson and members of the board. My name is Amber Taylor and I work for the Educational Opportunity Center's TRIO grant. It's a mouthful. We call it EOC for short. And what I get to do through this, my address?
Yeah.
Where my grant is University of Wyoming is where it's funneled through, but we're a federal grant. Is that good enough?
Public comments is like a home address that.
Yes. Home address?
Yeah.
Okay, 48 Horseshoe Bend, Lyman, Wyoming.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So what I wanted to let you all know is the free services that are available to your high school seniors and your community at large. So my grant allows me to provide free services to your community to help people wherever they are in life go on to higher education. And I think it's really important to define higher education. I don't walk into any classroom and say college, because that's not for everyone. I'm able to work with traditional colleges. I work a lot with community colleges because a great thing about my grant is that I don't recruit for any one university, any one college. So I get to help students go wherever they want. I've helped students go to California. I've helped students go to Arkansas. I did have a student go tour Columbia, but she ended up going to Utah State. I get to help students go wherever they want. My services are free. So I get really excited. I'm pretty passionate about it. So I don't say college, I say higher education. Because colleges, universities, trade schools, Bridgerland, there's been a huge influx of students wanting to go to Bridgerland lately, so I get to help them go there. What I help with the most is completing FAFSA. Have y'all heard of FAFSA?
Where were you a week ago?
Very aware of that.
I just did 3.
I was here. I'm here in your community. And it is very frustrating to me that I've been here for 7 years. I had a predecessor that was here. I mean, Wyoming has held an EOC grant since 73, I believe, maybe 76. We serve in the specific grant that serves Uena County, which is EOC1. We have 2 grants. We're a little funky that way. 1,619 participants. Those are only the ones that go into our database. I alone, in my area, I serve Uinta County, Sweetwater County, Carbon County, and Fremont County. Or not Fremont, sorry, Lincoln County. And I serve, I do well over 1,000 FAFSAs a year. Easy. That's an easy number to tell you. I help anyone that comes in my door. Now, my grant is targeted at low-income first generation. So 66% of our participants that go into our grant have to meet that standard.
Makes sense.
But the other third can be anyone. So I will never, ever close my door to someone seeking to become a lifelong learner or go on beyond what they have. So that's what I am able to provide. I help a lot of people with FAFSA. This year, FAFSA's been real tricky, as you know.
It's been horrible.
It's been rough, to say the least. I feel what the Department of Education is doing will eventually be very, very good for students. I truly do. Not everybody has a FAFSA lady in their area, so that's what they're trying to do, is make it simpler, less hoops to jump through, which I love. Don't get me wrong, gets me a little nervous for job security, right? But no computer can take my job. I am that personal touch for everyone. I'm the cheerleader, I'm the encourager. Even if I just have to sit there and say, you're doing it right, a lot of people need to hear that. I'm that human touch for them. I'm there to make calls to financial aid, to make calls to admissions. If they have a housing question, I don't have all the answers, but I know how to make a phone call. And I have a lot of connections. Not only in our state, a lot of your students here in Evanston and in the Bridger Valley, they go to Utah schools. So I have a lot of connections there too. And if I don't have a connection, trust me, I mean, I don't need this microphone. I will make that connection. I am very passionate about what I do. I love seeing the successes that I've been able to see in the past 7 years of doing this job. And I really, really want Evanston to be in that success story. And unfortunately, y'all just haven't been. And I do have a lot of adults. I have an office up at the BOCES, and that's been great. I see a lot of adults, and some of my favorites have been from the HiSET, the Boost program up there. Those guys are great. They come in, I get to present to them when they first start their program and tell them just who I am, plant those little seeds, and I see 90% of them again. They come in and complete their FAFSA, and you know what? They might not go to school that next year, and they might not go to school the year after that, but I will see them again because that seed has been planted, and they know that I'm a support for them, and that's my biggest goal, is to let everyone know what a support I can be, even if it's just being that cheerleader. Now, I'm not going to do stunts, but I'm loud, and I am an advocate. So I think that's really important for students and parents to know, because even parents who have degrees, the FAFSA's scary, and it's a lot. It's getting better, and I love that, but still it's scary, right? I mean, this is a step, and especially parents who have seniors for the first time. Things have changed since we've been in school, and it can be just a scary process all the way around. Not only applying for colleges, dealing with all your senior stuff, the senioritis kicks in. I want to take that burden away. I want to help students understand the financial piece of going to college, because going into a huge amount of debt to get a degree isn't always the best choice. So I don't ever want a student to walk away from me saying that I'm a dream killer. I'm just a reality checker. I want to look at the financial piece of going on to a higher education, wherever that is, wherever they land for them.
So I know Mr. Lester's gone, but is there a way to like have her come and, you know, when Jenny, because I've always done for 3 of them now, I've done like the senior day that Jenny Barker usually puts on. And she's very helpful too, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be nice to have someone there that could say, hey, you want to sit down and work on FAFSA together, or schedule an appointment.
You've been in contact with Principal Lester, right?
No, I've been in contact with Ms. Barker, but unfortunately, nailing down a time to come in just hasn't happened yet. So I'm hoping that will come sooner.
So you haven't contacted
Okay, I'll send an email.
none of the guidance departments you haven't talked to?
I have.
You have?
I have. Mm-hmm.
At the high school?
Unfortunately, it just hasn't meshed, and I'm just not sure if I'm not communicating well to say my services are. I'm passionate about what I do. I think I'm the bee's knees, right? I think I'm important because I can provide that connection. I'm not just an email or a phone call. Again, this is a scary thing for a lot of students, and I want to be there to support them.
Amber, I'm concerned that we have members of the school board that didn't even know you existed.
Me too.
And so we've clearly got a disconnect of some kind there, because it sounds like you have a valuable service that you're offering.
I should.
Incredibly valuable, actually. And yet,
can I
not
tell
only
you
are we
some of
not
the
utilizing it, we didn't even know you were there.
Can I tell you some of the other really great services? Because not only am I an amazing FAFSA lady, this form is throwing me a little bit off, because I used to know how to troubleshoot them all, and this form is rough because they've got so many bugs you can't even troubleshoot the trouble.
The
It's
fast
rough.
bug people couldn't. I spent an hour on the phone with them
Oh,
the other
I
night,
did
and she
too.
said, yeah, we have a lot of glitches. We don't know what's going
Yeah,
on. Wait
yeah.
till March. That's what I got told.
Yep, that's exactly what I have to tell people now too. And it's so worrisome for students because their aid packages will not be processed until after March. And some of these students have unique situations that need to be addressed within the institution, but they're unable to address that because the ICER hasn't been released. Yeah. It's a mess. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help pick up those pieces. So for income qualifying students, I can help get fee waivers. Do you know how much it costs to apply to the University of Wyoming?
$50.
Huh?
$50 or $60.
$40.
Oh.
How about the University of Utah?
60.
Utah State.
Yeah, it's a lot. I was able to get a fee waiver for that.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what my grant can do, though. Weber, they are finally working with me. 7 years it took, but I was a squeaky wheel, and we can get fee waivers now. So I'm really proud of the work that I do on behalf of students. So fee waivers and also travel reimbursement. It's not my favorite. I won't lie to y'all. It's not my favorite because it's a reimbursement. And a lot of students, especially if they're low income, they need that money to go to the school, to take a campus tour. And unfortunately, I can't pay them initially, but getting them reimbursement can be really important too. So that's one of the things. I can offer ACT waivers for students. They can take ACT on waiver 4 times now. That's really great. So those are some of the financial things that EOC can do for our participants.
Clearly, you're passionate about what you do. I think I'm getting a sunburn being this close to you.
I would hope so.
So, how do we utilize you better? Is there a chance that you could do something along the lines of evaluate a community that's using you effectively
Well, I have some percentages for you.
and give us some kind of written document that demonstrates what they're doing?
Sure,
So
I
maybe we
can
can-
tell you a little bit about it real quick.
Look at that and...
I don't know,
Oh, I
time-wise, do we want to have her come back and put her on an agenda another time to do a full?
Well, yeah, clearly not right now. I didn't mean
Yeah.
right now. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, at some point, I'm wondering if we can get some examples of how to use you effectively.
No, I think it's fantastic. I really do. Who on here knew of her services that was available?
Not I.
I don't think there's a single person on the board that knew of yours.
for 4 years and I didn't know.
Yeah, so anyway.
And I will offer my apology as well. Word of mouth is so important, and EOC really does rely on that quite a bit. I've tried social media, and moms are really good at following my Facebook page. Students don't care.
So my recommendation, and the board, we can keep talking about this if you want to, but if you can get put on the agenda for another board meeting, we might have Principal Lester here. Scott Kohler is not here either.
If I may, I think they need to go directly to the high school administration.
Yeah.
Let's get her
So
linked
not
up with.
not on the agenda here, you don't think, for parents?
Wait till the March board meeting, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think we just get her linked up.
Late in the process
Maybe
of
Mr.
that.
Rigby can get her linked up with Mr. Lester
I know
and
we've tried.
get her sucked in.
We've tried like FAFSA nights and things like that, but when you're sharing personal financial information, people don't like to sit in the same room and do that, or at least they
I would
certainly
disagree.
did.
I would disagree. Evanston has been notorious for no-shows. Don't get me wrong, because I'm the one that hosts those. So I definitely provide my services at those, and Evanston is not great at attendance.
Well, I think that's one of the issues is our counseling and guidance department, they do that already. They see this as services they provide. I don't think they understand this is a little more. And why wouldn't you want to go with the
So
that's the whole
I think
thing.
having you at that day with Jenny Barker, I've been to it 3 times now. If she was there on that same date, there's a ton of parents that show up to that.
Would want help.
And that want help, and we just don't really, Jenny's
My really
great,
effective
but we just
schools,
don't know.
in the fall, in September, we hold parent meetings. or senior meetings.
But
And
that's
so-
that's the key, is to link them to the high school administration and the high school guidance.
Okay, that's, okay.
So for the sake of brevity, what's the next step? What do we do now? How do we take,
She needs to call and make an appointment with Merle Lester. Start that way. And I say Merle and the council, the guidance department.
And you mentioned that you have an office at BOCES. Do you have regular hours and days that you're there?
Yes and no. So my grant pays for me to travel over here. So I'm not gonna waste my grant funds to come over here if I don't have appointments. Does that make sense? So I do have an office and it's fantastic. I was there all day today because I had appointments all day today. But I mean, typically I try to be there Tuesdays or Thursdays. Those seem to be better days to catch people. But if I don't have appointments, I'm not there. So I encourage students, I did bring for you all, if you'd like, a pamphlet, and I have cards.
That's what I was hoping for. I was like, I need a name and phone number again.
follow up and see what has happened with this, to see
No,
if
we can
it's
call them.
died on the
We
vine?
can see, we can follow up with that, that's fine. So, go ahead.
I have a question. Are you dealing with the general population of kids or all the lower income population of kids? Everyone.
Everyone.
So it's not, does it make a difference how much money the parents are making as
To
far?
me?
No, not to
No.
you, but the service that they get.
No, I'm going to give the same exact services to anyone that walks in my door.
And it's free.
Yes, and it's all free. Now, for my grant purposes, I can't give a fee waiver to someone who is not low income.
It's not
That's a
eligible for
criteria.
it.
So the financial piece of the grant services, those have to be, criteria has to be met.
Okay.
In order for a student to go into my database, and I work for a federal grant, it's data driven. You know, I have to serve 350 participants in EOC1, just me as a coordinator, and we have coordinators throughout the state. That's what I think is really great. So if a student goes up to Central in Riverton, there's an EOC person there that can help them. Now me, I'm pretty protective over my students. I like to check in with them every year, see how they're doing. You know, I really like to do that. But I'm super happy to refer them to Tiffany Bigler up at CWC.
So what's the acronym stand for? I hate acronyms.
EOC?
Yeah,
Educational Opportunity Centers.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be calling you tomorrow.
Done.
Okay. Great. So, any other questions for her at all? So I think what the next steps are is to get a hold of Principal Lester, and then maybe the guidance counselors up there, get a meeting with them, and I'd really like to see this at least be known to the kids within our community and the parents.
Yes, I agree.
And so I think that's our next step, is to probably go that route with the administration side of it, so.
And if we can find, like, if your Facebook stuff is on there, I'll be happy to share it with a lot of the senior parents too. just
Okay,
to-
yeah, we do, I mean, we haven't done a great job of keeping up with it. We ran a huge campaign a couple years ago and it didn't work.
Didn't go very well.
No.
Okay, but that's still a good place to share if we can.
Yeah.
I'll throw
Yeah,
your
I mean,
name
I
out
can,
there, so.
I can definitely get my assistant on it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you all
Thank
so
you,
much.
appreciate it.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
I'm taking this stuff personally.
Well, I'm here to help everyone. I want to make
Okay.
sure anyone who wants,
Okay.
my favorite is when a parent will then go to college after we've done their FAFSA.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So now, we can move on to action items.
Chairman Peterson, members of the board, we do have some personnel. First part is we have 2 resignations. One of these is as of Monday this week, and the other one is the end of the school year. We recommend that you approve.
Okay. So, action item A, the resignations and contracts. There was a couple of contracts in there as well.
That's separate.
Oh, you're gonna do that separate? So we'll handle the resignations at first?
First, yeah.
So I need a motion to approve the resignations as identified in our documents that were provided to us. What do you mean? I looked at them earlier. Did you sign in on the administrative side?
Yep.
I couldn't get into it till right now either.
Really?
Yeah, I did it at work and didn't see it.
So I guess, do we need to leave? Do you guys want to leave the regular school board meeting and go back and review these?
No, I can see them now. I'm reading them right now.
Okay.
I can tell you about it too, it's public knowledge.
It is public knowledge at this point, so.
Okay, we have Glenn Thomas III, he was a special ed teacher, he resigned as of Monday. Marcus Renard, excellent computer science teacher, early notification. He's going to leave us at the end of the school year. We appreciate him letting us know so we can take actions to replace that. So those are the two that are resigned.
I'm sorry, who was the first one again?
Glenn Thomas.
Okay, thank you. A motion to accept the resignations as stated?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Chairman Peterson, the two contracts that we're offering, first one is Emily Dennis. Emily is actually taking the spot of Glenn Thomas. Glenn filled her spot, but she went on leave of absence, so we feel pretty fortunate to get her back. We knew we were going to get her back at the beginning of the year, but she's coming back now, so it'll be a percentage of her contract now for the rest of the year. The other one is Tara Lawler. You know Mrs. Lawler, excellent. She replaced a teacher that left us last month and went to Rich. And again, we feel very fortunate to get Mrs. Lawler. So she'll get a percentage of her contract based on what the winning intentions are. We recommend that you approve these two contracts.
So I need a motion to approve the two contracts that were just mentioned.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the two contracts that Mr. Thomas has indicated.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, next, our district calendars.
Members of the board recommend that you approve the district calendars as discussed last month and this month for next school year and then the school year after that. So 23, 24, 25, and 25, 26.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the calendars for 24, 25, and 25 and 26.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Wheeler.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on the agenda, Teton Science School.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I hope this is a simple process. It does require that we bring this to the board because you do have students younger than 8th grade staying overnight. I think we're all well aware of Teton Science School and what it provides our students. Principal Francis is available if you have questions about the trip or how some of these individuals will receive scholarships if they can't afford the trips now. So, Principal Francis, why don't you come on down? But we do recommend that you approve this trip. Any questions? Principal Francis.
How many are we taking?
Hard question, right?
Wow.
67.
67, I believe.
67.
Is that right?
And what is the cost this year?
Well, that's an interesting question. The cost this year, and if I have to be completely honest, I've been frustrated with the business side of Teton Science School. The academic side is fantastic. They had some changes in leadership, and working with them has been very, very difficult. This year, they charged us $738 a student. We had some extra funding available, so I could supplement that cost to be $500 a student, which is right in line with what we typically have charged in the last few years. It's gone up precipitously in the last 5 years with inflation and everything that's going on. So it's been hard to maintain that, and because of that, we might be looking towards other alternatives in the future. We have a low-income community, and it's a lot of money for families, and I'm well aware of that, and want to make sure that it's not cost prohibitive for everyone.
How many days is that? Is that 5 days?
Yeah, so we're headed out 5 days for that. That's a Monday through Friday, March 20th through 24th for us.
Oh, you're going in March? Or
May.
May, I was gonna say, you're gonna
May
freeze.
20th through 24th, yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
How many adults are you taking with you?
So, in terms of
Or do you
adults,
worry about that part?
I think we have 3 male chaperones, 4 female chaperones that way. They provide chaperones during the day. With Teton, we're kind of just a support for the classes, and they have their instructors take the kids out into the field and learn science where it's supposed to be learned out in, the wilderness, and it's a great experience for them. Nights, I'm very impressed with their security. They're very used to these types of groups coming through, and they lock down boys in one cabin, girls in the other cabin. You have to have a key card entry to get into either cabin, and they have security that way as well. They do a great job feeding the students when they go. It's a great experience all around. Like I said, my only hang up is cost, and we gotta figure out that moving forward, because we don't want to lose the experience. The field experience with science education is unmatched. It's so beneficial for kids, and if you go one time, you know how important that is for kids. So we don't want to lose that experience, but we're just very well aware of how much it's costing families. And like Mr. Thomas said, if there are students within our UME boundaries that struggle financially, I do have some room and budget to help out with that. We typically ask students to kind of work towards it and earn towards that scholarship with various different things that we can have them do to help earn that money. But if anyone really does need that, I don't want cost to be the barrier that way. So. Any other questions?
Is there any academic level they have to achieve to go to this or not?
Right, talking like almost like an eligibility process.
Yeah, like an eligibility.
Where it's a learning experience for them there, and it's focused on that, and it's fully academic. We don't have an eligibility policy in the elementary school as well there. I mean, if we had a kid who had missed like many days and was well behind, we might look at that in those individual scenarios on if that's the best choice for them and have that individual conference with the family there, but we try not to prohibit any kids from going, make it equal opportunity for everyone.
It's an awesome program. Thank you.
It's fun.
Mr. Peterson.
Hey, yeah, just with that being said, we have had kids in the past who have had some behavior challenges that they kind of lose the eligibility to go. As you can imagine, when you're out in the wilderness, you can't have kids who are misbehaving because of the consequences.
Sure, makes sense.
It can be pretty severe, so that's one thing we do.
Good.
Yeah. And Mr. Peterson's exactly right, and that's on a case-by-case basis there. With the kids we have at UNT Meadows this year, I don't have any that I'd be worried taking to Teton Science School, but if we do have a kid, especially if they've exhibited some violent behaviors, we can really take that into account before going to Teton.
Yeah. Good. Thank
Any
you.
other questions?
Nope.
Thank you so much.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I guess we need to have a motion to approve the school trip to the Teton Science School.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? I'm going to discuss it. So my discussion is this, and you guys are very well aware of my stance on some of these programs going forward. I am not completely in favor of sending our young kids to overnight activities. I'm just not. I understand, I've heard how fantastic things about it, but my concerns are still the age and sending them overnight on trips for extended periods of time. So just so it's out there that you're aware of and that it's not, I'm not picking on one group or another group. That has just been my opinion. It's been my opinion for a long time, so.
I'd like to agree with Mr. Peterson. I'm in the same boat, and I've had many years of experience of taking kids on trips. And high schoolers are scary enough. But that age group, in fact, I should say, there's a lot I don't know about that age group, whether my wife taught a lot of years with it, but I never ever took the opportunity to be at that grade level. I just wasn't able to handle that grade. So, this is an issue that we have to deal with, and I just want to stand with Mr. Peterson, so no matter which way it goes.
And that's with me. I mean, we've got a board of 9 people, so that's, I mean, the board is going to decide. I just needed to let everybody know my stance and that I wasn't picking on one group or another group or an organization or another organization. That is just my stance with especially the age of the kids that are going on overnight trips, so.
Well, and I want to say, and I understand your stance, but I have been 3 times now with North Elementary, The teachers have been amazing, and we went last year. Davis was there, and was it you and me? We were all there together. It was an amazing experience, and the teachers do an excellent job supervising. Dr. Ingalls and I got to go with a group one time, and we got the ones that were maybe a little more of the behavioral challenged kids. It's a whole different atmosphere out there. These kids, I mean, they're just different people out there. It's an amazing thing. And to be so concerned about fifth graders, honestly, I have more concerns about our young adults in high school going on these overnight trips. Like, this is so well supervised. The experience is just unmatched. And I feel for a lot of these kids that never would get this chance if we didn't offer it to them through our district. A lot of these kids, we take the fifth graders to the zoo. Some of these kids have never got to go, or second graders, whatever year it is at North, but some of these kids would never get these experiences if we didn't offer them in this district. So thank you to all of you who do these, the Spanish trip, the Teton trip. It's really important for some of these young kids to get involved in something while they're little and get the opportunities that they get.
Any other discussion? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. It passes, yes. So motion passes, ayes have it. Motion carries, so they are good to go.
Yep.
Okay. Next on our action items is approve special education contracts.
Members of the board, we recommend that you approve these contracts. We really haven't discussed them. You can't discuss them in public, and there's nothing that's out of the ordinary what services we provide. Mr. Williams is here if he can answer some questions about these contracts if you have them, but we recommend that you approve them.
How many do we have, Mr. Thomas?
2.
2? Okay.
Alrighty. So, I need a motion to approve the special education contracts.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Next on our action items is the lease agreement with Hayden Peak.
This is to continue our agreement with Hayden Peak and the services they provide in our Cronin building. We recommend that you approve it. Mr. Dennis is here to answer any questions if you have them with him.
Yeah, so the lease agreement is for the physical property that's down at EMS in the old Curtin building
Yes.
for this, so, okay. So I need a motion to approve the lease agreement between Union County School District Number 1 and Hayden Peak.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Yeah, Caleb motion. Jenny was second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, we will now move on to the round table.
Round and round we go.
Around and around the
Round
table.
and round we go. Where it stops, nobody knows.
Chairman Gibson, I do have one thing I'd like to bring up, if I could.
Okay.
As part of the roundtable. Just, I doubt you guys are aware of this because I think it's new to our state, but I really appreciate what Wyoming School Board is trying to do this week. The week of February 19th through the 23rd is School Board Appreciation Week. So I'd just like to express for our district our appreciation for your service. Jenny, 13 years, is that right? Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But, the amount of time dedicated for our students, just hats off to you. Hopefully we'll get a letter to the paper expressing the same in terms of thank you for your service. Just wanted to-
And your bonus check should be inside your mailbox.
That's a big fat zero.
You get a dollar for every year.
Just the idea of serving. And it is, again, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed being part of the school board and dealing with this district. Phenomenal. We have a phenomenal district, phenomenal teachers, phenomenal kids, phenomenal administration. It's just been my honor to be part of it, so.
Yep.
Ditto.
All right, with that, I need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I'm 20 minutes late.
You did okay.
I did all right.
Yeah, did okay.
Maybe have one.